It had all been going so well, and now it's all going so wrong. And we've got two of our biggest games of the season right now. Hello and welcome to part 71 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev. Coming up on today's episode, we have two massive games. We're at home against third place Port Vale, then away against second place Forest. That's right, we're down in fourth. We've managed to tumble out of the automatic promotion spots. We're now 14 points behind top of the league Bradford. It was only in the last episode we were top of the league. Just for a minute, but we were top of the league. Our form has been pitiful. In addition to those two defeats on the last episode, we've had a couple of terrible... I mean, that Crew game, we were 3-1 up with 5 minutes to go and it all went wrong. Lincoln, we just were awful. And Scunthorpe, I mean, we're just not putting up any kind of fight. We've got to beat both Port Vale and Forest to have any kind of chance of automatic promotion, because if we lose these two games, that gap is just going to start to grow. And then we genuinely have to start worrying about staying around in the playoffs, because we're only 5 points clear of 8th place Lincoln. Dan Fisher, his form has just disappeared. He's still top scorer in the league, but when was the last time he scored a goal? Goodness me, what on earth is that? Interesting, coincides with our run of not winning games. Come on, Dan, we need you today. And this is the team that we're putting out there. We've got Nadat in goal, a back four of Anderson, Laskowski, Sawyer and Mole, with Darwin, Squire, Bill and Skelton in midfield, and Ball in behind McDonald and Fisher. The frustrating thing with Fisher is, according to his average rating over the last 5 games, still the best player in the squad. Not scoring goals though, which we came to rely on those goals rather heavily. Let's get into today's game. And I'm just hoping the fact that we've had a little bit of a break. I've gone and had a walk around the garden. It's not the usual situation where I played all these games last week and I don't know what's going on. I played these games half an hour ago, got so annoyed I had to go and take Dave out and just what is going on? But we'll be fine. I've closed the game down and opened it up again. That's always a good... that'll reset the lose token that we had in there. My long-running theory of Football Manager, that as you're loading the game, it decides if you're going to have a good session or a bad session. And if you're having a good session, you don't ever close the game. That's mad. Why would you close the game on a good session? If you're having a bad session, get out of the game, come back in again, and hopefully pick up a win token. Right, McDonald plays it into Ball. I thought he was going Darwin, but he didn't. It went to Fisher, and Dan Fisher, he loves a win token, has grabbed it. That's his 30th goal of the season, and it's an absolute beauty. His first goal in 6 games. Perhaps he's a dog lover. Perhaps he just wanted me to get out and about with Dave. He wasn't happy that I was sat in here early in the morning. Kev, what are you doing? You haven't walked the dog yet. Why are you playing football? Well, you know, I've got to get some videos stacked up. I'm going to Insomnia at the weekend. It doesn't matter. Go walk. I'm not going to score the goals until you've walked the dog. I mean, I assume that's what the thought process was. Right, Sawyer, heads clear. Please don't equalise straight away. It won't help my blood pressure at all. Our midfield 3 are very, very narrow there. But it's actually allowed us to win the ball back. And Fisher's in behind again, but this time, rather than squaring it to Ball, which I think is probably what I would have done in that situation, because I am a quality centre forward, he had a shot from miles out and missed. Darwin with the corner. It's actually a good corner. We don't do that very often. I think we've won a penalty. We have. McDonald's brought over. Got an injury. I don't know how Josh McDonald has got an injury. He was literally just tripped. Unless he's banged his head into the floor. That's a terrible penalty from Skelton as well. Their keeper nearly carried it over the line. What's wrong with McDonald? Why can't I? No, got to go into the course. I've got to go into the tactics screen. What's wrong with you, Josh? Groin injury. So he's managed to hurt his groin falling onto the floor. Does that mean he landed on it funny, or has he managed to stretch it being tripped? Either way, we'll keep an eye on him, and we've won another penalty. Has Fisher hurt his groin as well? Skelton stepping up again. If he misses this one, he's never taking a penalty again. Josh McDonald has a pulled groin and wants to come off. I think we've got Sedwin Scott on the bench. Skelton does score this time. That's his 10th goal of the season. Let's get Sedwin Scott on. There's no point keeping McDonald on with a groin strain, or a pulled groin even, because we're just going to make it worse. So let's get Scott on. Sedwin Scott hasn't really had a run of games lately. But he was scoring goals for us earlier in the season when I was struggling to decide who my front two was. Once I decided, Scott hasn't really had a look in because both McDonald and Fisher have stayed they've stayed fit until this moment. And now Sedwin Scott gets his opportunity again. It's a ball over the top to Scott. What can he do? He's not close to match fit, but cross comes in towards ball, and Port Vale have the opportunity to clear. As things stand, because Port Vale are the team in third, or were the team in third, we would jump above them. But they have just got a goal back. Still only 25 minutes on the clock. There's a long way to go in this game yet, but hopefully we can hold on. I mean, that little back heel from Byrne there has taken out 3 of our defenders in one move, and just that's an assist. You should get 2 assists on the assist chart for a move like that, because it just destroyed everybody. Ball over the top towards Scott. Scott does keep. I thought we were going to win a 3rd penalty of the first half an hour of this game there, but Scott forgets to fall over the way McDonald and Fisher did previously, probably because he's very protective of his groin. Laskowski, ball forward to Fisher. Fisher nods it down to Scott, and Sedwin Scott scores, because that's what Sedwin Scott does. It's 3-1 after 27 minutes. And we look like a different team. Seriously, from the team that I was miserable half an hour ago. That team, these can't be the same players, because we're just playing so much better, and we're playing against better opposition. Are we just a bunch of big game players who turn up for stuff like this? If we go beat Forest as well, then I can only assume some of these have got a little bit big for their boots and think they're too good for playing against some of the lesser League 2 teams. They need a little bit of a reminder that they play for Nuneaton. They're not Nottingham Forest. They're not Bradford or Rotherham, I guess. I don't think Port Vale are a particularly big club, are they? But I guess Rotherham maybe aren't either. But Bradford and Forest, I would say, are. We should still be feeling lucky and honoured to be knocking around in the promotion mix at this stage of the season. Not assuming that we're better than everybody else. Right, I would love a 4th. All that being said, I'd love a 4th goal. Just to put the mind at rest. At 3-1 up, I'm getting flashbacks to that Lincoln game where we did look this good going forward, but we were just spectacularly poor at the back. Darwent. That's a weird pass back to Squire Bill, but he lumps it forward towards Ball, who can't get there. Darwin gets another opportunity. This time finds Skelton, who plays it through to Ball. Both Fisher and Scott are hovering. It's out to Anderson, who has time to cross. Dan Fisher should have scored. If we come to rue that one, I won't be very happy. Scunthorpe are now pushing hard to try and rob our 3rd place from us. I think we just swapped places for a second and then immediately swapped back again. Right, Anderson again, ball forward towards Fisher, who looked like he caught that, but immediately dropped it down onto his foot and played it to Scott, who didn't really seem to be expecting it. But Anderson again, Squire Bill forward, Sedwin Scott in behind. What a finish from Sedwin Scott. Ball lumped forward over his shoulder. He does it. I don't even know if he looks at the ball as it's coming towards him. He just knows where it's going to land and knows exactly where the goal is. Sedwin Scott rightly should be feeling quite hard done by about he doesn't even look at the ball. He just knows where it's. Oh, what a player Sedwin Scott is. He needs more opportunities in this team. Next time we're on a bad run of form, let's not wait for someone's groin to go twang. Let's just get Sedwin in straight away, because when goals are required, he is the man who provides them. Port Vale have got another goal back. Like I said, we're pitiful at the back at the moment. We all know the goalkeeper issues we've got. I am a little bit fearful if we do get promoted and we still can't find a keeper. Because remember, I'm not playing Robbie Nadat by choice. I'm playing Robbie Nadat because both him and Payne are useless. They're the 2 best goalkeepers we've identified in 3 consecutive summers. If we do get promoted and we can't find an upgrade of our goalkeeper, it's going to be really, really unpleasant playing in League One with Nadat and or Payne in goal. I mean, we might even try to play them both, and they might add up to being one half decent, maybe League 2 standard goalkeeper. Right, Anderson, that's a terrible throw in, and it gives Port Vale the opportunity to break, but Laskowski's there to dominantly head forward towards Darwin. I think that's a tackle that's put that ball in towards Ball, and Dan Fisher has just missed another sitter. Yes, he's scored an absolute screamer today, but he is not back. He's not the Dan Fisher that was scoring goals for fun back in September. He just isn't. I don't know why. Right, Darwin can come off for Chambers Shaw. We're going to swap those 2 over. That's pretty much the midfield that we were using last season. Now, it might even be the first time that combination of 3 midfield players have played together this year. But they were pretty much ever present doing that last season. So we know that midfield three can do a job together. I'm a little bit nervy. I'm getting the flashbacks to Lincoln are there. Taylor with a lovely tackle and then a really weird clearance, but he's managed to injure their player in the process. So on balance, it was a successful move. Nadat. Goal kick, it was just really poor. They're in behind again. Nadat makes the save and Mole clears. We are defending desperately at the moment. I still don't feel confident that we've got this game won with a minute to go and a 2-goal lead, just because I've seen what we're capable of recently. But Anderson heads clear, and that should be enough now. I don't think they're going to score 2 goals in 30 seconds. Surely. Laskowski across to cover again to Anderson. Taylor. Let's just keep hold of the ball now. We've got 20 seconds to keep hold of the ball. Fisher to Mole. We are keeping hold of the ball. We actually look like a football team. That's just poor. Why have the right back pushing forward, overlapping at that stage, and then playing an absolutely ridiculous pass that puts us in trouble? Didn't matter, but it's still silly. Right, we pick up the first of hopefully 2 massively important wins. We're back into the automatic promotion spots, but now we have to somehow get a result at Forest to stay there. 2 changes for the Forest game then. Worrell Bristow is fit again, so comes back in at right back. Not just because of what Mole did at the end of that, mainly because of what Mole did at the end of that last match. Plus, Sedwin Scott starts at the expense of Josh McDonald, who has got a groin strap. I mean, he could play. He's got his pulled groin, but could play. But, you know, Sedwin Scott scored 2 goals in that last game. It feels like he's probably earned himself a start. And hopefully, between him and Fisher, we can continue in the rich goal-scoring form we were in that last game. Look at how close it is from us down, even all the way to Hartlepool at this point in 8th place. There's only 6 points separating us in 3rd from Hartlepool in 8th. A slip up here and we fly down the league. But it wouldn't, I mean, you wouldn't even call it a slip up, would you? It's Nuneaton away against Nottingham Forest. If we lose, that's not a slip up. That's just the natural order of things. But we are 1-0 down after 2 minutes, which is far from an ideal start. I mean, I can handle them outplaying us, but that's a set piece. They've just outdone us on a set piece, and it's a poor piece of defending, a poor piece of goalkeeping, and drops us back down to 4th as it stands. But that's obviously before the likes of Scunthorpe and Rotherham have gone ahead in their games. We could find ourselves down in 5th place by the end of this episode, I think. But you never know, we might grab a goal here. Ball's got loads of space. Has a shot. What a goal from James Ball. Why on earth do they give him that much time and space? He just lined that up beautifully. We need to look at this from the other angle. Corner comes in. It's headed out to Darwin, who spots Ball in all of this space, and he has all of the time in the world to pick his spot. That's brilliant from James Ball. 1-1, and we did that. They did us on a set piece. We've done them in a similar fashion, because it's just terrible defending from that corner, and we're quite good in those kind of situations. We might actually be able to get something out of this game. Sawyer, ball forward towards Fisher, but he can't get there. I've not seen Dan Fisher touch the ball yet, but he's in behind here. He's won a penalty. Wowzers, we're getting a lot of penalties on this episode. Dan Fisher's learnt to fall over, I think, and it's Sedwin Scott to take with the opportunity to put us 2-1 up even. He scores his 3rd goal of the episode. We're 2-1 up after 20 minutes. It's Scott's 10th goal of the season, and all of a sudden, this game's looking really rather pleasant. Look at Sedwin Scott. He's loving being back in the team again. And he's scoring goals like we're back in the conference. Fisher in behind again. Is he going to fall over again? No, he hits the frame of the goal. And Forest clear. But we're giving Forest a test here. This time they don't do us from the free kick. But, I mean, Nadat was nowhere near it. We basically play without a goalkeeper half the time. Darwin makes it 3-1. Their keeper looks as suspect as ours, because he is being beaten from some long-range crackers. I mean, they're not exactly going into the top corner. But Ball did brilliantly again. He's up for it today. Darwin, just first time, low into the far corner. And it's a lovely finish. 3-1 up after half an hour. We're rampant again. Why, oh why, oh why did we go through that run of like 5 or 6 games where we couldn't win a football match? That pesky dog. If we hadn't, we'd be top of the league or challenging for it at this point. Automatic promotion would be just about there if we hadn't had that iffy run of form. Ball now plays Fisher in, who forces a really good save out of the Forest keeper. Dan Fisher could have had a couple of goals already. Ball this time with the corner. Can't find a blue shirt. And it's cleared. I don't know why we'd have Ball taking the corner when he was so dangerous, hovering on the edge of the area from the previous one. Seems like a little bit of a silly decision to me, but who am I to judge? It's not like I decide who takes the corners. Darwin with a free kick, forcing a save out of their keeper, but he can only palm it into the path of Skelton, who makes it 4-1. The commentary saying that's an error from their goalkeeper. It's really not. It's a good save from their keeper. We had 3 players in to tuck that away, depending on where the rebound fell, and they just weren't defending it at all. Their defence is worse than ours, and that is saying something. 4-1 up at half-time away against Forest. This is ridiculous at this point. But Port Vale are coming goal for goal with us by the looks of it. They're level on points with us still, both on 67. We've got, based on how today's games are going, we've surely both got to be looking at Forest and thinking, tell you what, they're vulnerable here. If a few more teams do this to him, and us and Port Vale can get a run of form together, let Bradford go win the league. Let's push Forest down into the playoffs, because with a defence like this, they're going to concede goals against anybody, surely. Right, substitutions. We're nearing that time. Both Scott and Fisher, unbelievably, considering we've scored 4 goals, are not really at it today at all. So I'm wondering if we just bring on McDonald and Hibbert and just swap them over completely. Do that. The defence is already struggling. Let's bring on 2 fresh strikers. I know one of them's only got half a groin, but Hibbert's fresh and has been scoring goals. Since I've given him the opportunity to come into the team at the expense of Hendon, who's obviously on his way out to the Irish League, because apparently I said the name of the club he's joining wrong. I was told on Twitter it's Dundalk, I think, or something. I don't understand. Worrell Bristow. Oh, we don't have Mole on the bench. I would have liked to have taken Worrell Bristow off. We'll take off Squire Bill then. Bring on Peter Taylor in midfield, and just see the game out at this point, hopefully. Surely there's no way back in for Forest now. Are we going to grab a 5th? Darwin finds ball in space again, but this time it goes to Skelton, and Andrew Skelton has scored again. 5-1 to Nuneaton. Skelton, I think, has 3 goals on this episode as well. Is it 12 for the season now? From midfield. Remember, this is the lad we've got on loan from Manchester United. We've already got him on loan until the end of next season, and look at how well he's playing already. We're going to have a championship quality midfielder on our hands next year, regardless of which league we're in, because he is just a little bit special. I think he might be one that we're going to struggle to sign on a free at the end of his loan, but we'll absolutely be trying to extend his loan again over the summer and just keep him at the club forever. But 5-1 away against Forest. It's back on again, boys and girls. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.